Greetings. This is Arvette McLean of Speak, The Universe Listens. As a very young person, I always felt that I carried the weight of the world on my shoulders, having to make grown-up decisions in order to survive a life marked with physical, sexual, and emotional abuse. While my face was smiling on the outside, on the inside, I always secretly cried and felt miserable. However, over the years, I learned some gems that helped to turn my life around. I now get to live the life of my dreams, filled with love, travel, and wonderment. And I am absolutely passionate about sharing what I have learned with you. If you want to live your best life, tune in each week as I, along with some amazing guests, share these life-changing gems with you. Inspired to be more, do more, have more. Greetings and welcome to today's episode of Speak, the Universe Listens. Today's topic is the Kobe Bryant impact. And I have joining me Deborah Berry. So it's good to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Good to see you guys.
Yes. And so, in light of the recent events with Kobe Bryant and his untimely passing, you actually thought it'd be a great idea for us to talk about Kobe.
Yes.
How did his death actually impact you?
Well, I knew of, I can't say that I was a huge fan and always following, but I knew of him and I thought the work he did was great. There's only two years difference in age. So when he kind of set a new standard for joining the NBA fresh out of high school, he was 18, I was 16 at the time. So that allowed me to, recognizing that achievement and being interested about who this person was, I kind of grew up as he grew up. So I grew up watching him. He's known across the world, and to hear about someone so young dying and then it being an accident, it was pretty sad to see and to hear that news.
Yeah, and I actually am not really familiar with Kobe Bryant, only because, well, one, I don't watch television, and I'm not gonna say I never watch it, but very often, and I don't follow sports or anything like that. But Kobe Bryant is a name that I know, and when I heard about his passing, it really affected me deeply.
Yes.
And I was like really trying to think about, like, I wonder why with someone that I don't even follow, if someone had asked me Sunday morning, who did Kobe Bryant, what team did he play for, I wouldn't have known. So someone who I really didn't know, why did it affect me so much?
Right.
And the only thing I could come up with is it was just his presence. Like, he had a certain aura about him, and every time I did see him, there was a smile on his face, or there was this focused, concentrated look, like, I'm about what I'm about.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
He definitely had that, even through the TV. I was watching him. So I agree, right there with you. So, people that knew him very well to people that just knew, of him in passing because he was a celebrity. I think everybody around the world was touched by that. But on the positive side, when someone passes, I think what it really does to most people is it awakens within them or reminds them that we are really just spirits having a human experience, and we're not immortal. We're not going to be here forever. So it reminds people to live life to the fullest while they're here. And the interviews, people having all these wonderful things to say about their experience with him, showed us that he was that type of person, living life to the fullest. So I appreciate, of the unfortunate passing, I do appreciate those wonderful things coming out of it, memories,
Yeah.
and stories that are being shared for the first time that people had never heard, and us getting to know him actually a little closer than we would have had he still been here.
Right.
A lot of those intimate stories would have not been shared. And so you get to see and understand this person on a different level and see how passionate he was about life. And so, although it was sad, it was still touching. And
Do you have
positive.
any examples of any of the stories that really touched you?
Yeah, so I didn't really know his background. I didn't realize that he was not the average NBA player that came from an inner city background, and you know, sports was a way to keep them out of trouble and keep them focused on something else because they didn't have two-parent household. They didn't have, you know, they weren't middle class or above, you know, with the income level. But he did come from a two-parent household. They were very wealthy. His father was an NBA player, so he was well-rounded. He lived in Europe. He spoke Italian. So he actually had to prove himself in another way.
Yeah.
So I heard that story of him facing players from the team that he was on, or having to compete or prove to them that because he had privileges that they didn't, it didn't make him less of a player. So that was a story that kind of I gravitated towards.
Yeah. And I really like the community service aspect.
Yes.
And then just that he did over 250 Make-A-Wish appearances.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
And just a plethora of, you know, community service, and in all the pictures that I saw, got that
All right, I know
award-winning
it.
smile.
It's coming right through. Yeah. Yeah.
And then just like I haven't followed the news or anything on this story, but I did do like a Google search and really learned about his passion for what he did.
Right.
And just the whole idea of, yeah, I'm a good player, but I'm working for it.
Right.
You know, and I'm loving it.
Yes.
Like I'm doing what I love.
Right.
And I'm going to do it better than anyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. He was very passionate about doing what he loved. And you can, and he encouraged other people to be too, you know. So he had a beautiful spirit, and he was a force to be reckoned with on and off the court. You know, like he said, he put a lot into the community, which I didn't know about that either. So.
Yeah. So it's like his to me, what I've taken out of it is just a desire to be the best that he can be.
Yes.
And in that, being the best, like you said, he's well-rounded.
Yes.
So it's like he pours out love. He poured out love to his family, to his community, and then really just to all of us.
Yes, absolutely.
And then I heard him, I think I read some quotes or something where he talks about, you know, having a vision for what you want, who you want to be, what you want that to look like.
Right.
And the thing that I always wondered, like, for example, people who do Olympic athletes, like I always wonder, like, what's in their brain
Right.
to make them want to go hard.
Right. Because they
you
do.
know? And it's a difference, and there are different levels of Olympic athletes. Like some are just happy to be present, like I'm an Olympic athlete,
Right.
and then others are like, I want to win.
Yes.
And so he was one of those, I want to win.
Yes.
Like I want to push myself to whatever level of excellence that I can get to.
That's right. Yes. And he had that expectation of the people around him. I heard a lot of countless stories of him, you know, just setting the tone, setting the standard, and, you know, not accepting anything less than everyone's best. And of course, to have that expectation, you have to show that you do that yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, his gym stories of him being in the gym at 4 in the morning, and knowing that because he was there, he was going to one up, the other teammates even and players because they were asleep still.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
yeah, just his mentality, it was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Very encouraging. So, although we lost someone great, again, I think it reminds us that we still have time to be great and to live our lives in the way that is loving, compassionate.
Yeah, I did want to add one more thing about something that I read, and he said something to the effect of he pushes everyone. And he said, I don't do it in the same way for everybody. I study you.
Yes.
I learn your strengths, I
Mhm.
learn your weaknesses, I learn what makes you tick.
Right.
And then I individually,
Yes.
on an individualized basis, I push everyone I meet.
Yep. I heard that too. And that's such a wonderful way to motivate others to realize that everybody's not the same. It takes a lot of effort to do that. But in being willing to put in that effort, you get great results.
Right.
So
The whole world
it's proven. Yes.
is touched by you.
Yes, exactly.
Because you took the time you saw me,
Mhm.
and so now I see you too.
Right. Exactly. And that also speaks to the selflessness of him. He didn't want to be the only one receiving, all of the, hey, you're the best, you're the greatest, people around him, he could see the greatness in them and wanting to pull that out. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I also think like you're kind of alluding to just the untimeliness of his death from our perspective.
Right.
It makes us remember that we're not going to be here forever.
Yes.
And the people that we love aren't going to be here forever.
Yes. And we need those reminders sometimes.
Yeah.
We need to be reminded that this is not it, and especially when we're reminded that other people we love can, go at any time. It gives us the ability to appreciate them more, to not take moments for granted, and to just, kind of pick what things we want to focus on, what's going to be most important today to focus on and give my attention to, and how am I going to execute my day, set good intentions, because I may not be here tomorrow.
Right.
I may not see the people that I love tomorrow. So, yeah, that is true.
And so I guess we can, I guess it also helps us think about our own dreams. How do we want to activate things instead of thinking of things as somewhere far off, like, okay, one day I'm going to do this, one day I'm going to travel, or one day I'm going to own a home, or one day. But,
Right.
can we start activating those things in our lives now?
Right. Yes. Have the focus and the intention to make the one day in the moment now. Yeah. You're right. And he was really good at that. He did so many things. He wrote children's books.
Basketball camps.
Right, basketball camps. Yeah, the Mamba girls basketball camp. And I even heard that he had a podcast. Yeah, his one day was the next day.
Right.
He wasted no time. Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing.
He got it in.
Yes, yes.
And then, of course, I love the imagery. I mean, so I heard that when they found him and his daughter, they were embracing.
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah. Wow.
To the very end.
To the
just
very
pouring
end.
It out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's poetic, you know. It is sad, it is tragic, but at the same time, there's so much positive, you know, that can be taken from that situation.
Yeah. And I feel like he actually said some type of quote, and I wish I could remember, but he said something to the effect of, live your life in such a way that the world will remember you.
Yeah, I believe he said that. Absolutely. Because that's what he believed in. That's what he did. That's what he did.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad we had a chance to talk about Kobe Bryant, because I know he's in the hearts and souls of so many. And like you say, we're just taking so many lessons.
Yes.
It's opening our eyes up.
Absolutely.
Reminding us of so many things right now.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Particularly, it just seemed to connect with your theme, you know, and how you operate with putting it out there. The universe is listening. That's what he did every day, and that's how he became who he was.
Kobe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. So thank you.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys. I hope you took something away from the life of Kobe.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing you next week. Yeah. And make sure you check out my website at arvettemclain.com. And if you haven't subscribed, please click on the red button below to subscribe. Until next time.
Bye.